Welcome to the cross-site scripting lesson, Reflected Cross-site Scripting, or Reflected XSS in short. In this lesson, we will test for the reflected XSS. But first, you may ask why it is called reflected XSS. The answer is simple. Because the cross-site scripting or XSS vulnerability in the website is reflected back to the end user in order to be attacked. This is the reason why it is called reflected. In reflected XSS, attacker sends the crafted payload to the victim. Then victim bring the payload to their HTTP request to the vulnerable site. The payload will be now inserted into the web page and executed by the victim's browser. This is the main point where the attack is possible and attack becomes successful. Then the XSS payload run in the victim's browser within the context of vulnerable website or web applications. So this is the whole process of reflected XSS that may be used to target the web applications, target the web users, or anyone who is logged in with the credentials or some kind of validation or authorization. So let's start by using and attacking with the scripting language, that is JavaScript. So in this input field, I will insert JavaScript that will alert and make a pop-up box. So typing a script. And with the onwards, that is the hacked. But if you will go to target any user, then there will be an other payload that can use to steal cookies, like document.cookie. Then I will simply close the script tag here, and upon submission, let's see what happens. Here you can see in response of this input, it have responded me with the word that I inserted here. So this is the main goal that we use to attack. Let's analyze the source code of this web applications, that how it is this possible and how it reflects back to us. As we earlier seen in the cross-site scripting basics, this is the get parameter and the get variable of the PHP code that asks for the name. Here the name will be input by the user, and it will echo back, or simply say it will present to the user with the greetings hello and the name input by the user here. So this is where the attack is possible, because there is no any kind of sanitization is there. Well, this is the source code of the web application that we attacked now, but in the phase of web application penetration testing engagement, you may or may not have the source code, original source code of the web applications to review and test for any weaknesses or vulnerability, or simply say the cross-site scripting vulnerability. So in that case, you have to make and test as a black box testing without prior knowledge of what kind of sanitization and what kind of protocol is there. You have to test that. Now let's make this security thing harder. I will make this web application more secure by selecting medium. Now the security level is medium here. Now if I will type the same script, let's see what happens. As you can see, there is a sanitization and the filter is there that have filtered the script tag entered by me. So this is the basically where the black box testing is playing the role, because once you get this message, we can clearly see there is no any script tag, and except alert and hacked and all the some HTML special characters, the script tag has been filtered rigorously here. Let's see the source code to analyze what happens here. Rest of the code is same. As you can see, the get variable asks for the name, but at this time when it is presenting back to the user, here is a filter that filters for a script tag. Once the script tag is filtered, our JavaScript code will not be successfully executed. This is the reason why it is not possible. But by using some encoding methods, as you have seen in the encoding lesson, we can encode by using URL encoding and double URL encoding. So let's insert JavaScript code that can be executed without script tag. Okay, this is the payload that I have received from the WASP filter evasion techniques. So let's analyze this coding one by one. What will happen here is that there is the script tag having 2 times, and it will encode our payload, and the script tag will be closed here. So at this time what will happen is that it will filter the most and consecutive 2 script tag here with the last 2 diamond brackets, and our JavaScript code will be executed successfully. You can get this kind of filtering evasion techniques and filtering evasion payloads by visiting WASP website, wasp.org. By submitting this technique, you can see it have filtered all this, but still it is executed because it was filtering only the script tag, but there was 2 times of a script. That's why it is successful. Let's see another method. This is basically the filter evasion techniques. I will put one another script here. So once it will remove the script tag that is in the middle of SCR and IPT. Once it is removed, it will again becomes a script. Let's see what happens here. We will do same for this last tag. Now submit. As you can see, the IPT, all those script has been filtered except the IPT. So this will not basically work. Okay, we can go to the WASP filtering evasion cheat sheet that found here that have many filter evasions techniques by using a special HTML entities, because this is the medium level. Once we go to the higher level of security in the cross-site scripting, it will filter and remove all the HTML special characters so that it will not execute any JavaScript or any scripting language codes. So basically this will happen. We will try this one. And once again this is successful. The best way to test for the cross-site scripting vulnerability is to simply insert the plain text tag here that will break the page if the web application or the web page is vulnerable. So let's input this plain text HTML tag here, and let's see what happens. Great. As you can see, this have broken the page, and it have shown the source code of this website. So this is the clear indication that this website or web application is not properly sanitizing the input, and there is no any filtering mechanism, and that's why it is vulnerable. But at this time we can see this is the medium level of security, and the source code is this one, and it is only replacing the string that is script tag of JavaScript. But there are a lot more methods that we can use to attack and perform cross-site scripting attack. That is the reason why still the PayPal and AC and many companies are facing this kind of hacking attempts, and also they are providing bug bounties for the bug hunters, because this is really a dangerous vulnerability. And if you say in reality there is no remedy for this one. If you are talking about the reflected cross-site scripting, it is totally dependent over the web administrator, web application developer, and the website owner. Well, that's all for now. In this lesson, we just learned how we can use cross-site scripting of a reflected type that may be used to send the malicious and forced link to the targeted user, and then he will execute our payload to the vulnerable web page. This is the role model of the reflected cross-site scripting. Let's see the cross-site scripting model, how it is executed in the real world. This is the all-way graphical representation of cross-site scripting of reflected type, that is also called non-persistent. So this is the hacker that have crafted the URL, that is vulnerablepage.php, and there is a payload inserted here that we earlier used, like JavaScript tag. JavaScript use document.cookie object to read the cookie value from the browser or the server. So hacker will send this malicious URL to the victim. Suppose this is the bank site and it is vulnerable by some way of cross-site scripting. Then the hacker have sent the payload to the victim by using some means like email, chatting, instant messaging, and a victim had just clicked that. So once the victim has clicked that malicious URL, it will make a request to the vulnerable website or the vulnerable bank website. Then the vulnerable website will reply back to the victim. But this all must be in the case of this victim has already logged into the vulnerable website. Otherwise, this attack will be unsuccessful. So once the vulnerable website have reflected or presented back to the victim, our payload has been executed unintentionally by the victim. Let's see the response headers. Response headers have the requested page, that is the original from the bank website or the example website here, with the payload that the hacker has sent to this victim and executed by the web server. So this is basically the process in which a cookie stealing and all the targeted attacks happens where a website is vulnerable to cross-site scripting that do not sanitize the input data properly, and the victim is already logged in to that website. We will see all this kind of scenario in action later. By moving further, we can use these techniques or reflected cross-site scripting attacks in order to gain some bounty provided by bug bounty programs like PayPal, Microsoft, and many big companies provides bounty for the bug hunters. So you can use these tags to test for cross-site scripting and also earn the money at the same time. We can also use the cheat sheet and payload generated by and made by wasp.org that can be accessed and downloaded from the XSS filter evasion cheat sheet that have really a good kind of filter bypass, and generally all the penetration testers of applications use this kind of cheat sheet to save the time at the time of penetration testing engagement for the web applications. So you can also use to make your career in the bug bounty as a bug bounty hunter.